I think we should start off a little positive. And let's talk about Maxey, right? I really feel like Maxey's going to take the biggest leap. Do you believe that?
Maxey's a very interesting player. Obviously, there is a ton of potential with him. My only fear is I feel like sometimes we can overhype players and it can just become too much for them or set these rocket high expectations. So I have expectations for Maxey to play at an all-star level and to be a great player in this league, but I'm not necessarily in a rush to see it so soon. He's continued to improve every single year, and I think he takes another leap this year. And maybe this is the year he takes the giant leap, but if it's not, as long as we see overall improvement, I'm perfectly okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, he's working on his game right now. He's working on ISOs. He's working on everything. And people are too quick to judge. I agree with you on that. But you look at it where the team is going right now, where the championship door is closing for Embiid. So we need that guy to take the extra lead and to be the closer. Embiid and Harden, they're not the closers. So maybe Maxey can take that leap and be a great step forward. But here's another thing, too. With Maxey, Harden's the best with him because of the facilitating and playmaking. So when Harden's not on the floor, that can hurt Maxey as well.
Yeah, I think it definitely can, but I think Maxey, one of the things I want to see is for him able to adjust to different situations. That's where we could see him struggle a little bit at times, and sometimes he struggles to adjust to different situations. But I think that's one thing that if he can tone into on that, especially with nobody knows what's going to go on, obviously, with the James Harden situation, what's going to happen with Joel Embiid and this roster. Maxey basically is your best guaranteed player going into next season.
Yeah, you're right. What is up, Beast Mode? How's it going? I'm starting to get to the point that I want a new GM. We're going to get into that. Don't worry. We're going to get into that, the whole fiasco and everything. I just want to talk about Maxey and how he can take the biggest leap. And I think he can when you look at the three-point percentage as well. Look, it's skyrocketing. What did he average, like 40% or something?
Yeah, I think it was just under 40. I think he was sitting at in the high 30s, somewhere like that last season. But yeah, that's one thing that I was a little nervous with as he came into the league in his first few years is how was his three ball going to be? But no, he was in the 40s. And you know what? He's consistently been a very good three-point shooter, but it continues to progress. He was actually 43.4 last year. So if he can get up to that 44, 45 range, I mean, look out, because that's a real key element to his game.
Yep. We just need someone to be that third option or arguably second option, and Maxey can do that with a three-point shot. It's just amazing to me how he fell into the draft to us.
I know.
To me, that's like the most shocking thing.
Well, he played on a Kentucky team that obviously didn't really do as well as people anticipated. And I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I don't even necessarily believe that he was, the star player on that Kentucky team. What year did he play? Yeah, it was the COVID year was his Kentucky. So COVID season, didn't get as many eyes. And I mean, that was a pretty loaded draft class as well. So yeah, I can see how he fell to a point, but it was definitely a steal. I mean, we knew from day one this was going to be an insane steal for the Sixers to get in Tyrese Maxey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the work, Beast Mode said it perfectly. His work ethic is perfect. People are telling him to go home and get some rest. That was Doc Rivers. Typical, right? Go home, get some rest. And he's like, no, I want to work on my game. I want to get better. And with this Philly fan base, you know how tough they can be on someone's mental state. He's perfect for this city.
Absolutely. He's continued to persevere through the struggles and all the drama that's surrounded the Sixers basically since he got here. I don't think it's ever been drama-free. I mean, from the Ben Simmons saga, and now we're turning into the James Harden saga just 2 years after the Simmons saga ended.
Yeah. And speaking of the James Harden saga with Maxey, I wonder what Maxey is thinking right now about this whole thing. It's got to take effect on everyone in the team, everyone in the locker room and everything. So that's the one thing I'm thinking about, how it's affecting Maxey.
I mean, obviously, it's definitely not something he wants to deal with. He wants to be around. Yeah. Him and James Harden seem to have been close since James Harden got here. One of the big excitements about getting James Harden was how he can help develop and progress Tyrese Maxey's game. So it definitely, probably doesn't feel great to see it happen, but I don't think Maxey it's not getting to his head too much. Even if it is, he's using it as extra motivation to work because he knows without James Harden, he's going to be more relied on. He's going to have to take a bigger leap without James Harden there. And, especially with, like Beast Mode said, Nick Nurse coming into being the coach now, I think that's great for Tyrese Maxey. We saw what Nick Nurse was able to do with Fred VanVleet. We saw what Nick Nurse was able to do with Pascal Siakam and develop those talents. So it's a similar thing with Tyrese Maxey. What is he going to be able to get out of him? Because Doc Rivers obviously didn't get the most out of Tyrese Maxey, but there's a foundation for Tyrese Maxey that's very, very strong. There's a huge support system throughout the city. He's literally the shining moment when it comes to the Philadelphia 76ers. I think people are more hyped about having Tyrese Maxey than Joel Embiid at this point.
Yeah, and especially with Embiid trolling everyone, his Twitter bio and all that stuff. We're going to get into that. I want to talk about Daryl Morey with Maxey because he talked about not extending Maxey because of the whole 2024 offseason. How do you feel about that?
I get it to a point. I mean, listen, Daryl Morey, I know people love to give him hate. I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Yeah. The guy has built some very, very good teams. The guy has been a very, very solid GM throughout his career. But the thing is solid. He hasn't been great. I think his plan is he doesn't know what's going to happen with James Harden. He doesn't know what's going to happen with Joel Embiid. So I think he just wants to keep all of his options open. I think extending Maxey now can hurt you in a way because you might have to commit more money to Tyrese Maxey. And again, this is a guy who hasn't necessarily been at an all-star level yet. So you can't commit that much money based off potential alone. I am very excited for Tyrese Maxey this year. I think he's going to take a big leap. I think he's going to take a very, very nice leap this year. And if he does, he's going to get the money he deserves, in my opinion. He's too young. He's too talented to not get it if he takes that leap.